Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Rebel, and as always, I have to give you my pearl advisory. I tend to cuss like a sailor, and I could also talk like a pervert, so if you ain't into that, you better exit stage left. You ain't gonna hurt my feelings though, because I know I ain't everybody's cup of tea. So, yeah, we're going to talk about TomTom today, because there's some of you, probably not all of you, because not everybody cares about a damn turkey, but there's been some of you ask about the story of TomTom, why he's in the house, all that jazz. So, I think he's behind me somewhere. Don't move that around. You're making noise. No noise. Shh. I can't have a peaceful video between animals and kids. You ain't gonna get ASMR videos here at my channel. No. But, so long story short, I have a friend that I've known for a while. She raises all kinds of farm animals, and I was looking for something for a pet. Preferably for outside. Now, I do have chickens. I raise Japanese Bantams, and the type of breed that they are, I don't know. They're very skittish. They're very jumpy. Not to say that mine are tame. They're just very skittish and jumpy. They don't want to really be messed with much. So, you know, I wanted something that kind of follow me around to be like my little dog, my little feathered dog, you know, or something like that. So I was kind of looking at the time of like ducks or geese, because I've never had ducks or geese. And the neighbor just north of us, he has two geese, a pair of geese, and they're fun to watch. They kind of follow around and stuff. And well, like I said, my friend raises a bunch of different types of farm poultry kind of animals. So I got a mosquito bite. It's driving me crazy. But so I noticed that she posted about having these turkeys, and please don't, he's back there tearing up something. Please don't take offense by it. This is just what the breed is called. I'm not trying to make fun, but they're called a midget white turkey. They are basically a dwarf. What are they called? Broad-breasted, I believe it's. Anyways, the large white turkeys that are on the dinner tables. He is a dwarf of those, basically. I don't know the process of how the guy got them. I'm thinking, since I raised dwarf rabbits, this is probably what happened. He took a couple of smaller of the broad-breasted whites and took those and kept on breeding them down to get to the size that they are today. That's what I think. I haven't done a lot of research on it, but in general, that's how we got our dwarf rabbits, was just taking two that were smaller and breeding them and getting them, you know, the size down. So, he is large. He does look large. He's about the size, probably a little bit bigger. He is bigger because the neighbor has average sized chickens. So he is bigger than an average sized chicken, but he's nowhere near the size of like what his ancestors would be. He's going to be about 12 pounds when he's fully developed and matured. Where a regular white-breasted turkey is going to be like 25, 30 pounds. The toms get pretty big in those. So he's going to stay smaller, but he isn't quite small either. So now he's about... Oh, he will be. He's going to hit 6 months old in a couple of days. But, yeah, now the story of why is he in the house? Why most of these shit goes outside? Now, granted, I did have a chicken in the house with us for a long time. She was in here for a couple of years until I got sick, and I decided to ease the burden on Billy, try to take care of me and kids, and I moved her outside with the other chickens, and I still have her. She's still out the pen and everything. She adjusted quite well to being outside, so, but he's not adjusting. I can already tell you, he's not adjusting very well to be it, because I've been putting him outside on our cooler days, and he hasn't really liked it very much. But he's not going to be staying inside all the time, because I'll get into that later. But, so yeah, I got him when he was 8 weeks old. I actually got two of them. she told me it'd be better if I got two because they're quite, what's the word I'm thinking? Social. There we go. They're quite social birds. They like to be in flocks or herds or whatever you want to call them. So I got a girl and I got him. And I told her, make sure, because all I wanted was a tom turkey, because after I decided, I'm like, I want a tom turkey, because I think they're so funny when they're strutting around, you know, and all that. So, and I got a girl turkey to go with him. And they stayed in the house for several weeks, a couple weeks, until it warmed up, because it was still kind of cool around here. It was still, you know, kind of, not winterish, but it was a little too cool to be throwing babies outside. So once it warmed up, I put them outside. And this is just a lesson if y'all ever want to raise, I'm about to knock over, y'all ever want to raise poultry, farm animals. This is a lesson learned for me because he's my first turkey ever. I've never raised turkeys. I've only raised chickens. So, and I put them in an existing pen that had chickens in it. And he scratched the crap out of me a while ago. Anyways, not thinking that chickens carry a disease that affects turkeys, and it affects them with their babies. Like I said, I did not know this going in because I know other people who have turkeys with chickens. I've seen it many times, and I see it on Facebook, you know, and all these other places. So I was thinking nothing about it. I placed them in the pen, and they were doing fine the first week, and then I started noticing she couldn't stand up. She was wobbly, like she was drunk and falling over, and I assumed that he done it because she was very runty. She was very small. She wasn't growing too much. So I think there was something genetically probably wrong with her anyways. And he was way larger than her. Sorry, my AC's on. It's hot here. I got to have it kicking on and off. But he was quite larger. I'll put a photo up of him. He was very much larger than her at that point. And what I thought, because he went crazy, batshit crazy, whatever. I would go out there to feed or anything. So he wouldn't care who he ran over or whatever. So I was assuming that he probably trampled over the top of her and injured her. So it was late at night when I noticed this, or it was later in the evening. And I didn't have time to really move her. So what I was going to do the next morning was I was going to get her and move her separately so she could heal up, so I could figure out what was going on with her. But by the next morning I went out there and she already passed. She was already passed away, and I'm like, well, he really must have injured her. And like I said, I wasn't thinking a whole lot about it because I think she had some genetic issues. She just wasn't growing. So a couple of days later, I kept him out in the same pen, and he started doing the same thing, wobbling, couldn't stand up. He was still drinking, still eating. So I'm like, what in the world? So I started researching it, and I found something that said that they that they're deathly ill to like mold spores. There's a certain mold spore, and that is spring. In springtime here in Oklahoma, everything's very humid, moist. So yeah, there's a lot of mold because I'm allergic to mold. I was assuming that was what was wrong with him. And it's a long ass word, and I don't remember how to say it. But I was assuming that's the problem. So now I need to treat this problem. So what I did was I gave him heavy rounds of antibiotics. I had some antibiotics left. He got those along with ivermectin. It's a horse wormer. I gave him that. He got 2 tubes of that throughout the process, and just babying him. I kept him in which he's in the same little box crate now. I kept him in a box crate in the living room so I could keep an eye on him. Because turkeys are not smart. They're not. He had a habit of choking when he was eating. He would choke on his food. He'd choke on his water. That was even before he got sick. So I was have to keep a close eye on him, watching him. So he was in the living room with us. Matter of fact, in front of my chair where I sat, so I could watch him. But it was a good month. Every night I'm thinking he's going to pass away. He's not going to be able to make it, because it just seemed like he wasn't getting any better. But it's just like a slow process. He got to where he was doing better. He started growing. He started feathering out. He started, getting there slowly. He was getting to where he could kind of walk around again. And I said it was a long 2 months of course, we're going into summertime. So by the time he got better, was much better actually, was like around July, and it's so hot here. There was no way I could take an animal that got adjusted to AC and just kick him out in 100-degree weather. It would have killed him. He would not be accustomed to the heat. Not to say that they can handle, like the chickens and stuff, they can handle the heat, but if you think of it this way, they're outside the whole time, so they have like a gradual get used to the heat before it gets here kind of thing. There was a plateau where their bodies could adjust, and he didn't have that. It was just like 70 degrees, bam, 100. So I was just afraid. And I'd like to say, I did the same thing with my rabbits. My rabbits were in AC all the time, because when I take them to shows, most generally all the shows were in AC, and I didn't want them, get stressed. Oh my God, it's hot. Oh my God, it's cool. So I was trying to keep them at a nice climate all the time. That kept them from blowing their fur. So, because fur was a lot of their points when it came to showing rabbits. So, but like I said, I got sidetracked on rabbits. So I didn't want to just throw him out in the heat and kill him because he had a heat stroke or something. So he stayed inside. But yeah, it was like I said, he still doesn't walk very well. He's still a little unbalanced when he walks, but it's way better than it was. Because before, he couldn't even, like, if you ever been around a bird, any type of bird, they like cleaning themselves. They preen themselves. They clean their feathers. He couldn't even clean his feathers without falling over. He couldn't walk without stumbling. So he still has that unbalanced thing going on. It's just not near as bad as it was. So he takes slow steps. And at first, the bigger he's gotten and the better his balance, he's doing these really slow steps. And I was wondering if he didn't hurt the bottom of his foot somehow, the way he steps. But I think it's just because he's just taking his time, taking it slow, because he can't run. I mean, there's videos. I'll be showing videos. He can't run. But that's when he's like flying, and it kind of helps him to run where he's not falling over. But yeah, that's our story of Taw Taw. And yeah, I've tried. They're messy. I will admit, he shits so much. There's probably piles back here I don't fully know about. I haven't seen yet. So he's very messy. But all birds are messy. All birds will shit. It's gonna happen. They're a lot messier than a mammal when it comes to that. Mammals kind of give you a clue sometimes, or you could train mammals. Like I had rabbits inside the house that were litter box trained, so they would go back to their litter box. A lot of mammals kind of go back to their same area to use the bathroom, or you kind of have a better handle of them, being in the house. To where birds, on the other hand, I've noticed some parents that were slightly trained, they would fly back to their perches and poop. But that's very rare for you to get a bird that was going to do that, because I've raised a lot of birds. I had a parrot back in the day. So I, like I said, chickens, and so I pretty much know bird. So he's quite messy, and that's another reason why I want him out of the house. He needs to be outside. He's messy. I'm tired of cleaning up after. I have a Clorox water mix that I follow around everywhere. After he's pooped, I have to spray it, because I don't want to pass anything, because I do carry salmonella. They do carry, other diseases to humans. That's if you sit there and eat their shit, though, or if you messed with their poo and then you go to eat, or you put your fingers in your mouth, then you're susceptible to getting it if they're carrying it. Now, you don't know if they're carrying it or not, but, so with the boys, I have to make sure I do, like, major cleanup after he's been out. But, and I've tried diapers. I've made him a diaper, and he just walks right out. So, he's going to have to go back outside. It is getting fall, so I have been, on the days that we've been a little bit cooler, I've been putting him out with the chickens, and that's been fine, because he's older now, so he'll be fine out with the chickens. We got storms moving in. That is a dark cloud, so I was trying to hurry up and do my videos before the storms moved in. But, yep, that's pretty much it, the story of Tom Tom. Like I said, he's a big ham, and for them to be, they are dumb. At least he is a lot dumber than my chickens. But for him to be so dumb, he has such a personality, and it just, I don't know. I'll be lost if something happens to Tom Tom. I've got so attached to him because I've had to really just baby him. And yeah, when you sit there, you have to medicate and baby and do that for several months. You're going to get attached. That's why I can't do the rehabilitation. I've been asked if I would help rehabilitate animals. I just don't know if I can do it. I could do it because I've done it so much, working with my rabbits, and I basically had to play vet all those years for that. And my animals, I played vet because there's not a lot of veterinarians that are going to really handle, at least back in the day, they ain't going to mess with the rabbit. No, they're not going to, so I had to learn how to, and be taught from other breeders of rabbits and what have you, teaching me things. So I've been asked to do rehabilitation. Granted, I would like to, because I love animals, but then it would be so hard to release them because I would get so attached. I couldn't, I guess once I'd done it enough that I could, be able to release them back in the wild, but yeah. So, plus I got so much, I got them on my plate. I've got him on my plate now. I got too much on my plate to really be constantly, looking after babies or sick, so. But yeah, that's the story of Tom Tom. So it's not much of a story. It just, he got sick. I had to keep him in the house. I got him well, and now he's better, and now we'll just adjust him to go back outside. But, so yeah, like, he's already turned up stuff. They're very curious. He goes after everything. Very curious about things. He loves bread. He loves anything off my plate, basically. He has to eat whatever I'm eating. If I don't, he's up in my face, like, where's my food? Because he can reach up high with that neck. He can reach up. I am his lover, I guess, if you call it that. Most birds will get mated with one bird, except for chickens. Chickens aren't really like that. I think that they might be, because he seems to be mated to me. Parrots are a good example. They'll mate for life. There's other birds in the wild that they mate for life, so they get attached to one person, bird, whatever, and that's their mate. I think he's done that with me, because anytime another male like Billy, the neighbor was around one day, anytime there's another male around me, he's showing off, and he's showing his shit, and he's walking around. I'm like, this is my territory, kind of thing. So it's quite funny to watch. Him and Billy will have little standoffs. So they kind of mate. So that's what's made him a really good pet, because I didn't realize that they do that. I figured they'd be like a chicken, because male chickens are just whores. They ain't gonna pick just one. Now they do pick a herd. Like, they will, watching the neighbor's chickens, he's got a couple of roos, and some hens are with this roo, some hens are with this other roo. So they kind of have their own groups, in that general sense, but they don't stick with just one hen. So, and I thought that's the way the turkeys would be, but I don't think so by the way he acts. So yeah, that makes it better too if you want them for a pet. If they're the type that will bond with only one partner, like a parrot or other birds, well then, there you go. So I think I've rambled enough about Tom Tom, and he will come in the picture today. I thought he would come walking behind me, but he never did. He's back behind us, getting into shit, tearing up shit. As that's what he does. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this kind of chit-chatty, rambling type video on Tom Tom, and you will be seeing him throughout my social medias because I can't help but not take videos or pictures of Tom Tom and post them. So just look, just look, you will see them. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and I will see you guys really soon. Love y'all.